Leave it to Nintendo to make a game relevant after 13 years. The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time 3D. Alright, so I'll say it right now, I never actually played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time before it was on 3DS. Because it came out in the 90s, and that was like the height of console wars. It's what the 90s was all about. At any given time, there were two systems out, and you had one or the other. You had to choose a side. I had PlayStation. And so I always said I was going to get the 3DS when Ocarina of Time came out, because it'd be a good time for me to play it for the first time. So it came out, and I had to shell out the money and put my money where my mouth was. And I gotta say, this game holds up. Now, they revamped the graphics for the 3DS. It's in widescreen now, and the polygons are a lot smoother. It doesn't look outdated. Like Ocarina of Time for the Virtual Console on the Wii shows its age. Graphically, for the 3DS, I was really impressed. And the 3D in the game is really cool too. And it's annoying at first because you got to keep it like right there, like 1 foot from your face. And I like being a lazy gamer, like I'm hanging back, you know, it's kind of at an angle, like whatever, I'm just laying down in bed. You can't really do that, but you get used to it pretty quickly. And if you want, you can just turn off the 3D. But the textures in this game were nice and round, like 3D should be. They weren't like flat pieces of paper on flat pieces of paper in the background. All right, on to the game. Now, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was really fun to play. Usually games that are like 13 years old, you play them now and you're like, that was fun back then. That was before I had the options I have now. But Ocarina of Time, it hooked me. I mean, it's The Legend of Zelda. I'd played Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time play really similar. Same kind of sword attacks. You don't use the shield to slam the guy or anything like that. But unlike Twilight Princess, where they have you turn into a wolf and then turn into Link, in Ocarina of Time, you go from young Link to adult Link. Kind of do the back and forth thing, figuring out puzzles. And the puzzles in this game, all right, I learned one important thing from playing Ocarina of Time, and that is I was a much better gamer back in the day. I'm fully convinced, like back in the day, I would have figured out all the puzzles myself. For some odd reason, when I was younger, I was just better at connecting A to B. I think it was because games nowadays just kind of hold your hand, and they've made me dumber. Thanks, modern games. In Twilight Princess, there was a little thing that showed you, like, generally speaking, where a heart container piece was. No, not in this one. But back then, they're like, no, here's your world. Talk to a guy who's gonna give you a vague-ass clue, and then, you know, get the heart container piece. Or find the dungeon. Or walk through the wall. Like, there's a scene in this game, I had to walk through the wall to progress the game. Usually, a game would let you know that walking through a wall is now a mechanic of the game. You've never walked through a wall in this entire game yet. So it doesn't tell you that, you know, to get through this room, you have to walk through a wall. Assholes. I felt stupid after I game fact it. I hate using game fact, but this game made me use game fact a couple times. Because like I said, I'm not as smart now. And to all you out there are gonna be like, oh, game fact, oh, Jeremy failed. Whatever, dude. Now, as fun as this game was, I knew it was coming. Because in every one of these 3D adventure platformers, there's always a level that's known as the water level. I hate water levels. I hate them more than like anything. Mushrooms. Water levels. This was water level with a vengeance. Multi-floored puzzle water level. It's as bad as it gets. Not quite as bad as the ice level in A Link to the Past, but it was, I didn't like it. Now, I will say that the Zelda games in general, and this one specifically, it's really light on story. I mean, generally speaking, it's like, oh, bad guy, you're a good guy, you stop bad guys from doing bad guy things. But I wanted to know more about the characters. I wanted to know more about Ganondorf. The dude's an awesome villain. He's like an iconic villain in the video game world. He's from Gerudo Valley, that's cool. He's screwed Hyrule, now you gotta stop him. That's really all you know about him. Speaking of Gerudo Valley is a place in Ocarina of Time that has the best song ever. It's just one of those songs. You go to that place and you just stand there and you listen to the song. The annoying things for me is the button that turns your camera to face where you're facing is also the button that targets enemies. So rest assured, when you want to do one, it'll probably do the other. That annoyed the shit out of me almost as much as that stupid little fairy. You have a fairy that flies around with you and it doesn't shut up. You're doing something. You're really throwing down with a guy and this little fairy's like,
hey, listen.
I know. Stop it.
Hey,
stop.
listen.
Stop it.
Hey,
stop it.
hey,
shut up. I'm
listen.
getting shut up.
Listen.
Shut up.
Hey.
I hated that fairy. In one of the boss fights, the fairy's like, oh, there's all this energy. I can't help you, Link. I'm sorry. I'm like, thank you, dude. You and me, we're pals. Come on, let's hang out. Let's go drink some red potions and kick back. So the gameplay is really fun. You're going to be entertained for days with this game. It's going to take you an eon and a half to realize that you're going to have to Google the secrets to find out where everything is. But when you do, don't worry. We've all done it. You're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna get stuck, but in the end, the game holds up to today, 13 years later. If you have a 3DS and you don't have Ocarina of Time, I don't get it. So what's your favorite Zelda game and or your least favorite Zelda dungeon? Comment below, let me know. And now you can officially look below and find all the ice and water dungeons in Zelda games listed below. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.